All right, people, the views and opinions on visual radio and the Somerville News Weekly podcast, volume 1, I guess, is they're my point of view and my guest's point of view, but not those of any of the stations running this. But on the podcast, all things are fair. Billy Tauro is back after 2 episodes, what, about 10 years ago? Bob?
10 years? It's been that long, yeah.
When we interviewed you on your book, and Billy's back, and Billy's running for?
Registry of Deeds for Southern Middlesex County. I'll be on the November 5th ballot. Please vote for me.
Amazing. And so it's in Wakefield.
Wakefield is one of my 44 city and towns in my district, yeah, for Southern Middlesex County, correct, yeah.
Yeah, pretty amazing. I'll ask you to give some of the cities and towns, but I think Somerville News Weekly, your newspaper, needs to do a podcast.
I think you talked me into it a little while ago today and signed me up. It would be interesting.
Because you got a voice, and people know you. I mean, when I was going around Somerville, it's like, Billy, we know Billy. We all know Billy. Yeah. Everyone knows Billy.
I run unfiltered. I'm not filtered. I write, I speak, and I produce the truth all the time. And it always comes out correct.
And once in a while, you see my film reviews in your newspaper.
I see your film reviews everywhere, and I tell you something. People look at your stuff, and I know they look at your stuff because when I put your stuff on my stuff, your numbers are they jump out of the ceiling.
I just take it from the aspect that people want to hear a folksy kind of fun. You read interviews in the Globe and the Herald, and they got their structure, and break the structure. People want to know the inside of the film and the backstory.
People want the truth, plain and simple, right to the point. They want the truth. Nothing hidden, nothing watered down, the truth.
We'll get to the politics in a second, but I went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't like so much violence in a movie. It takes away from it, but it's a good movie, and it's made a fortune.
Yeah.
But there's so much violence. I mean, it's so, you become numb to it.
What's the movie about? I've had time.
Well, Wolverine is one of the best characters in Marvel.
Yeah.
And he died. Mm-hmm. And so Deadpool needs him, so he goes into different dimensions to find he audition all the Wolverines.
Oh, wow.
And he finds one, and he gets Hugh Jackman back into the uniform, which Hugh wasn't going to do it again. And now he's back, and it was a potent combo.
Did he say I'm back? I'm back.
Kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it's they knew what they were doing, Marvel. They got the audience back into the theaters. Yeah. And, $1 billion film like this.
I was a Wolverine fan, too, yeah.
Well, it's good for the theaters. Yeah. You know where they're putting the movies I have to go see is at the AMC Somerville.
Yeah, that's pretty popular. I live right there, too.
It's
pretty popular, yeah. It's very popular. But I was disappointed when they closed down the Revere Cinema. That one was there forever. Now it's an Amazon.
You can blame, I think, allegedly Mayor McGlynn, because he's now working for Gilbane.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Gilbane Corporation tore down the cinema and put up that Amazon.
That was a really thriving cinema at one time.
It was beautiful.
And when they tore it down, I go, what's going on? But you're right about Assembly Row. It's the only one left over there now. All the ones like that, yeah.
Yeah, and that used to be over in that parking lot there with Home Depot and everything.
Yes, it used to be the Somerville Theater with Home Depot, Good Time Billiards.
Yep, I went there many times.
Yeah, Dapper Dan's. Can't forget Dapper Dan's when it was Assembly Square back then, not Assembly Row, yeah.
Also, before we get to your election here, the Somerville News Weekly, you're over there at Assembly. You must see so much stuff. Before it even gets to you from informants.
You can't make some of this stuff up. It's so bad what's going on in the high schools over there right now, what's going on at City Hall, what's going on in the streets.
The library? What's that about?
Well, they took the policing out of the libraries, and now they closed the library down from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. every day. So when the kids get out of school, they got nowhere to go. They wait for their parents to get home. They have nowhere to go to do their homework, nowhere to go to study. So they go to the library. So and sometimes you do get some troublemakers to go there. They go everywhere. Now they're going to be hanging out in the parking lot. But if they had policing in there, that would solve the problem. Just keep the peace. That's all they're doing. Even security, just keep the peace. But now these kids have nowhere to go. Now they're going to be in parking lots smoking joints. That's what's going to happen. But today, I just posted on my personal Facebook site. They're protesting right now, all the kids. They're protesting City Hall about the library, and they're telling Mayor Ballantyne, come out of hiding and talk to us. She's refused to talk to anybody.
That was my next question, is the mayor, what's the mayor doing?
She's hiding. She's doing absolutely nothing.
That's insane.
It's
Because you know how Brianna got in Medford? She got in from the parents, the teachers, and the school kids. It's such a big voting block. What's she crazy?
Yeah, you can't neglect them. The school parents, they got to think about their kids. When you turn your back on them, you turn your back on everybody. I don't understand what this mayor is doing.
That makes her vulnerable.
She's a complete disaster. A complete disaster.
And you ran against her.
I ran against her. Unfortunately, I lost. But never say never. I may be back. You never say never.
Well, the longer they stay in, the more errors they make.
Oh, yeah.
Some self-inflicted and some that
Her
just
error
happen.
from day one, she started. There's a sign on the door. Office closed by appointment only. She's never there. There's no one to complain to. I even had city councilors who weren't with me, but weren't helping me. They're saying the city's being run by itself. There's no one at the helm. She's never there. They tell me, you should have won the race. I go, should have been helping me. Now you complain after she's proven her true colors. She's nowhere to be found. You're losing businesses left and right. She's taking away parking all across the city. And if I can't drive there, I'm not going to go there. You take away parking spots from everywhere. She just did Beacon Street. She did. She's doing all of Highland Ave right now. Parking spots on both sides. Why are you taking them apart? She's doing Broadway. You can't do that. She already did both sides of Webster Ave. For what? I understand bike lanes. We could share the lanes, share the road, but how much room do you need? Yeah. Grandpa and Grandpa need the curb too. Remember that.
So when I was working in Central Square as a publicist, and I go home at midnight, 12:30. When I got down to Union Square, I come down that hill, right?
Prospect.
Yeah, where all the new high rises that McGuinn
Prospect.
and Gilbane put in right there. They're everywhere. There's all these bike riders like at midnight giving me the finger and circling around my car and just thinking they can. Yeah. And so the bike thing is way out of control.
Like I said, share the road, but don't take it for granted. Don't overuse your power. You got a bike lane, use it. But we still have cars. I can't ride a bike. I have a torn tendon in my leg. It's permanently disabled. I can't drive a bike. You can't drive a bike. And if we can, it's going to be for a short time. I just did the Marlboro Labor Day Parade this past weekend. I had to rent an electric tricycle, electric trike bike. It was fun. I got to pedal a little bit, and I rode on the electric power. It was fun, but I could not walk.
Did you get some photos?
I got a lot of photos, a lot
cool.
of videos, yeah.
Put them in the paper.
10,000 people lined the streets. I was throwing candy at them all.
So with a podcast for Seminole News Weekly, you can come up with solutions and throw the solutions out there to people. That's what they want.
When do you want to begin? Let's do it right now.
We're beginning right now.
When do you want to begin?
We're beginning right now in visual radio. We're launching your new show.
This is day one.
Let's
starting right now. There we go.
Make an old man stretch across the table.
You're not old.
I go to the gym every night.
I drive by one every day.
I know, but I did 2 miles. You don't. I did 2 miles, but we did 100 miles up and back yesterday to go to New Hampshire. My engineer said, you got to come up here. You got to come up here. And it was on the lake. It's Mount Cardigan. It's
what part
beautiful.
of New Hampshire?
Mount Cardigan, where they do the cardigan sweaters.
What city is that?
It's like a Lakeshore Drive, the 7. So we're in the car, my driver and me, and he's my buddy. And all of a sudden, we're talking about the moon landing. A plane comes over our heads and lands in the water.
Oh, yeah, they have in Lake Winnipesaukee. They land there. I have a place up there. I have a place up in Moultonboro. It's 100 miles away, yeah.
It's right near Winnipesaukee, right? And so, and then we're watching as the plane takes off. And so our engineer told us, it's, these older people have planes, and they're only like, 15 grand or something.
To them, it's like a car.
Yeah.
They go on dates with it. They go on visits with it. They go on vacations with it.
And
they land there. They park it right in front of their houses. How cool is that?
And they have lunch or dinner. Yeah. Then they get back on the plane. You know how they get in the planes? The kayak or a canoe.
Yeah.
Because Larry's got a boat, and he goes, we're going to take us for a boat ride. I said, how'd you get to the boat? He goes, we used the kayak, the canoe, and I'm like, whoa.
But they use it for everyday travel up there. It's amazing watching it.
It is.
Yeah, they're starting to do it in Boston now. Boston Harbor has the instead of flying to New York by Logan Airport, they'll fly and land you right in Boston Harbor, back and forth on a seaplane. back and forth to the Cape, back and forth to New York City.
Wow.
That cool or what?
Wow. I mean, it's a whole
Times
new
have
world.
changed. Yeah.
You know, and you don't think of like Somerville or Boston and some, you know, New Hampshire, sure, but
Yeah, it's things that people are trying everything new these days. You know, who would ever thought 20, 30, even 15 years ago, today what we do, our technology, what we have in one iPhone, what we can do with one iPhone every day, who'd ever think we could do everything we do on it? You can't.
now, like back in Medford, you had these families, the Sackos and the Liberts, and they were all in the McGilveries, all running the police department, right? Mm-hmm. And then you had McGlynn's family, where he names the school after his dad, has his two daughters working there.
Yeah, yeah.
In Somerville, you have the Curtatone family.
The crime family.
Well,
Curtatone crime family.
you know, all the views and opinions here on Visual Radio.
And I stand by what I say.
Oh, you've written, what, 2 books on it?
I've written a book, a second one in progress. We're waiting to fill the last 2 chapters. And I've written numerous stories about them. And actually, Newsbreak and all these people are finally picking up my stories. And things they say they were fictional finally came true on the witness stand in a lot of trials. So looks like Billy Turtle's not a lie. He's telling the truth, spreading awareness and fighting crime in the city of Somerville.
I'll tell you something very confidential on the air because we won't use names. But
Yep.
you know I got tipsters. And you know, like I break stories like the police force
I know
on the
you do.
Brady
I
list
know
and
you
all
do,
that
yeah.
stuff, right? One of my tipsters called me. She goes, I love Billy's book. You know, so the tipsters are reading you. I got so many tipsters all over the world. And, you know, to hear that, like, you got to read Billy's book, it's great.
You know, I tell people buy 2. Buy 1 to read, buy 1 to keep in cellophane plastic. Because if I get assassinated, it's worth double the price. and for the last 5 years, I've been wearing a bulletproof vest to prove that.
An investment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't worry about the criminals. It's the police I worry about when I go after them. But I got to tell you, Chief Buckley gave me a parking space in Medford. God bless him.
Yeah, nice guy.
Because I'm criticizing him a lot. You know, and I was there to pick up a DVD from a public records request, and the chief himself is giving me a parking space. So God bless him.
I sat next to him and Mayor Brianna at the O'Donovan trial. I sat
Next
with him.
question. The
Oh, yeah.
O'Donovan trial. Let's get to it.
Very interesting trial. I went through every day of it. And the outcome was even more surprising. Shoot your questions away. I'll answer anything you
It was
want.
Buckley's brother.
Buckley's brother, Mike Buckley, was the one who was wearing the wire, who got caught, bribing the chief of police. And, in reality, the FBI said, look, O'Donovan didn't bribe the chief. You bribed the chief, because indirectly. So wear the wire or go to jail. And he wore the wire.
Also, it was the chief's brother?
The chief's brother, which was Mayor Curtatone's former chief of staff.
Oh, I thought he was the good guy. I didn't realize he... Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This stuff's heavy.
It's very, and I remember when he took the witness stand, and one of the things was, in my book and also in articles I wrote about the Somerville overtime scandal. Everyone says, oh, Billy's full of crap. That never happened, never happened, never happened. Well, the first question the FBI asked him on the stand was, how are your personal finances? And Buckley answered, they were in shambles. And they goes, what was your position at the DPW at the time? He goes, I was in charge of the DPW. He goes, they said, your finances were in shambles. Did you ever borrow any money from anybody? He replied, yes. And they go, who? He goes, other DPW co-workers. Then they asked, did you ever pay them back? He goes, yes. He goes, how did you pay them back? I paid him back with fictitious overtime. Everybody was doing it, and so he thought it was right to do. How long have you been doing that? For years. So when I wrote about the overtime scandal, I was a big liar, they said. But now it's public record in the Sean O'Donovan trial.
Well, gee, there's a certain city I've written about. Mm-hmm. I would check that DPW. That's all I'll say.
My book is called Stealing Somerville, but it's happening in every city. It's right under their noses. It could be stealing Medford. It could be stealing Wakefield. It could be stealing Woburn, stealing Arlington. All you have to do is change your name. If you dig deep enough, you'll find the corruption, as I do.
It's pretty stunning because I'm goody two-shoes. I play by the rules.
Yep.
And it serves me well because other people don't. And so when you play by the rules, you can say, hey, look, and then you can attack.
Yeah, I dug into corruption, the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds, Maria Curtatone. I found it. It just came out last week in the paper, and I put it out there. There was a family who told me A 93-year-old lady passed away last year. She had no children. She was never married, but she did have 10 nieces and nephews, and they were all on her will as beneficiaries in the household when she passed. And she always told them the house is going to be like it's going to be like a flower. Everyone gets a petal. So my opponent, Maria Curtatone, assisted one of the beneficiaries who she's best friends with. I won't name her right now on the radio, but but if you go on my website, you'll see her name. She assisted her in removing the other beneficiaries off the deed. And Maria Curtatone recorded a deed. Now, she recorded this deed after it was already 20 years old. Why do it? Because she knew what was going on. And as soon as they did that, the beneficiary that's on the deed, she refinanced. I think it was up towards $550,000 in equity she pulled out of the house for a down payment on her own house, her daughter's college education, and elaborate trips and everything around the world. All right. Then I noticed she put it on 4 different realty sites, and I looked at one was 1.1, then it was for 1.2, another 1.3. Then she had it on Redfin for 1.4 million. And as soon as my article came out about her deceiving and cheating, changing this deed, she pulled it off the market and sold it for 1.4. Now that's pretty bad. That's the Fox Gardner hen house coming true in reality at the South Middlesex County Registry of Deeds, with Maria Curtatone being the fox, and that's why I'm running against her. One of the reasons to prevent stuff like this from happening.
What does a Register of Deeds do?
Well, a Register of Deeds does, you buy a house, you spend a fortune on your house. You're going to hire an attorney to do all the paperwork for you. You're spending a fortune on an attorney. You give him a check to bring to the Registry of Deeds to record your property, which he does in good faith, and he does it. He puts it in the hands of the registrar. The Registrar of Deeds then, they can either record it or let it sit in the shelf. This current Registrar of Deeds, Maria Curtatone, she's been there for 12 years. In 12 years, when she first started, the registry was 8 years behind in recordings. Shame on them. Now they're in the upward number of 18 years behind in recordings. She's been there for 12 years, running 12 years unopposed. What's that tell you?
Whoa. When I was in the TV3 battles in Medford, right, a lawyer suggested, call up Maria Curtatone. So she had that law office right on McGrath Highway, right? So I called them up. No answer.
Yeah.
No answer.
But now, like I said, where she's that far behind the recordings, the average person buys a house, they keep it 25, 30, 40 years. Then when it's time to sell the house, they'll go look at the deed. By then, of course, it's recorded. But suppose, God forbid, you have a family emergency, someone passes away, an estate, or you're going to sell the house for a move, you need the money, whatever reason. 7 years from now, after you bought the house, you sell the house. What do? You go to sell your house, they say, you got a buyer after all this time putting it on the market. The buyer says, we have a problem with the deed, it's not recorded properly, because it's not recorded. Where she's 18 years behind the recordings, it happens.
So there must be a lot of people that can't get their...
People, I'd say maybe 2% of people check and see if their deeds are recorded. She has all this time from, like I said, the majority of people buy a house, they keep them 25, 30, 40 years. They don't check until then when they need it. But if you need it in case of an emergency and that deed's screwed up, what do? Now you lost your buyer.
So there are your voters.
You know, I've been going through South Middlesex County, 44 cities and towns, and I'm hearing the same story over and over from lawyers, from realtors, from homeowners. They have a problem at the Registry of Deeds, South Middlesex County. I go, I'm here to solve your problem. And they take my car, you got my vote on November 5th.
Wow.
You can't make this stuff up.
No. So you say I look like the Beach Boys today.
You look like one of the Beach Boys with the hat, the shine. I love it. That's the way I usually dress. But I was told, come on TV, and I think I had to wear a suit, and I should have came dressed as one of the Beach Boys. We could have did an ensemble together.
You know, the engineer said, we're going to take you on the boat for a ride. We didn't go on the boat ride, but we were up at a lake yesterday, and what a nice place to record, because he has a place in Dedham as well.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But he said, you got to come up here. So we went up, and we just had a really nice time doing the work. I mean, it was work.
It's a different world up there. No sirens, no noise, no horns beeping. It's so peaceful. It's so peaceful.
Tranquil.
Tranquil.
I mean, even the plane going over my car and into the lake,
it's a beautiful
still tranquil.
sight, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was not noisy. It was just
peaceful. You're watching that thing land. They kayak to it. They take it to their dock. They take off with it. They go to dinner. They come back.
My friend said, I've never saw this. He grabbed his cell phone. He's taping it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He goes, this is amazing. And yeah, it's a whole different world. It's one of the cleanest, it's like the 9th cleanest lake in the world.
Winnipesaukee is beautiful. I've been up there for 18 years. My family has a place up there. It's beautiful. It's crystal clear water. You know, in the last 2 years I've been campaigning, so I haven't been up there once. I haven't had a
Wow.
chance. But my kids go up there a lot, and they enjoy it. It's a place I want to retire someday. It's beautiful.
So get out of Assembly Square, or no, you're at.
I'm in Assembly Row.
Assembly Row.
Yeah. I'm right in the middle of everything. I'm minutes away from everything, and I don't miss it. If a story's happening in Somerville, Cambridge, Medford, Malden, I'm minutes away, and I'm there. I go myself. I answer my phone. I don't have a secretary to answer the phone for me. I'm there. You got a story coming? I'll be there in 5 minutes. Boom. Everyone has my cell phone number.
Do you have an office now and press your paper at the office? Or?
We have an office in Joy Street in Somerville, correct.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
So
but we
you-
print down in Hanover, Massachusetts.
Oh, so you get it overnight.
Usually my paper deadline is a Monday at 6 p.m. So I work on the paper. My son and myself, we work on the paper, edit it, and producing it from 6 in the morning, usually till 4 in the morning. This week, we took a little extra time. We finished 5:30 in the morning. By 9 o'clock a.m., 10 o'clock a.m., it's already delivered to our front door from Hanover. That's how fast they print it. The trucks start rolling. They get them out in the streets. They deliver all the copies to everybody, and everyone's a happy day. And I'm only one of 2 local papers around. It's only me and the Somerville Times that do print. No one else does print anymore. But my readers want print, and I respect what they want. Even though you lose money producing it, I'm giving my readers what they want, because they've been good to me all these years, and I want to be good to them.
In Everett, we have 3 papers.
Yes.
And they are print.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
We're dinosaurs, though, for that.
Well, one of them, I won't say which one, but one of them is pretty much the mayor does what the mayor wants with that newspaper.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Everett papers at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you off camera, but
They're having a print edition, you're a dinosaur, because everybody today is like this. At a red light, at a bus stop, anywhere, they're just looking at their phone. That's where they get
I
their
wrote
news
for the
from.
Medford Transcript, gone.
Yeah.
I wrote for the Medford Mercury, gone.
Yeah.
I did a big Star Wars piece in Medford Mercury. It was beautiful. People
Your piece
loved
is still
it.
up here in my paper, too, some of them Medford News Weekly.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah, you got a big audience when they see it, yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, I'll get you more articles.
Well,
I mean,
you're online at the SomervilleNewsWeekly.com. You're also in my print editions on every Tuesday.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Well, they love your stuff. You're the only one doing reviews.
I got tons of them. I've been so
don't
busy.
you don't see them out there no more. You don't see papers with crossword puzzles anymore, reviews, real true stories. You see all fluff stuff out there. I don't do fluff stuff.
And people
I
go
do
to
the
coffee
truth.
shops, want to read papers.
They
They
do.
don't want to read the phone in the coffee
In
shop.
Medford, I get Demet's Donut.
Yep.
They insist. They come over. They a couple of big piles every
Great
week.
people.
They great. I go in there a lot.
They're nice people.
Oh, they've been there for years. I go in there for my egg sandwich and my iced coffee.
I should visit.
Yeah.
I'm up on up on the hill in Everett. I'm on.
And they have a big stack
line.
of Somerville Medford News Weeklies right there. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Good people. Mystic Ave is changing.
Yeah. They did. They paved it over, but it's been looking the same for the last 20 years. It hasn't really changed that
They're
much.
putting something in. I think a brewery.
Yes, I think it just opened. It opened this past weekend. A beer brewery opened there. Yes.
So a certain ex-mayor I brought up, I guess, plans allegedly of building the next Assembly Square right on Mystic Ave.
You got the space there. Medford's behind it a lot right now. It's really fallen behind Malden. It definitely fell behind Somerville and Cambridge. You give your residents a little more to pay their tax burden. You know what I mean? You need a bigger tax base than you have.
The certain ex-mayor, I'll give you a rumor on the air I got from one of the tipsters, one of the thousands of people that call me. The ex-mayor walked across the street from Demet's and offered them $5 million for the property.
Oh, which property was that?
I don't want to say on the air, but
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to think what's across from Demet's. All right, yeah.
yeah, so get your gardening done, and so they laughed at him and said 15 mil, and he stormed out.
God stopped producing land. Land's valuable today, and all you can go is up.
Yeah.
So, like I said, land, Somerville, Cambridge, Medford. Now you own a piece of land there. It's a gold mine.
He thought he was Santa Claus, and they shot him right down.
Oh, wow. I didn't know any of that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I get the tipsters everywhere, and they just get these surreptitious phone calls. I sometimes know who it is.
Yeah.
And then they put these things in my ear and hang the phone up.
Well, I remember the time you sent me the story about the blacklist of the cops. Remember that?
Well, I did 2 of them. I did one on, like you were talking about,
There were 51 of them, I think, at that time.
there were 33 in
33,
Medford,
yeah.
but 117 in Middlesex. So I got that directly from Marion Ryan, who's no friend of mine.
And that day, that week, I got 385,000 views on that. And I remember I got calls from cops I didn't even know saying, you mind taking that down? I said, no. Why would I take it down? Well, my friend's on it, he's on it. I didn't write it. Talk to the district attorney. I talked to Mariam Ryan.
And people don't get it. This is an important topic that your podcast should bring up, the Brady list. It's also
The Brady list, that's what
it's
it's
also called the Giglio list, Giglio.
I didn't know that, yeah.
So Brady was a murderer in the 60s, okay?
And what's Giglio?
I don't know what Giglio is, but they say it all the time. And you can look all this stuff up online, and you'll see that police stations across the country try to keep it away from people.
Yeah.
But there's a new law now, so they have to put all this stuff up. You know that, right?
I did,
I'll get you the information.
Transparency.
So now, when I gave it to you, it was still hush-hush.
Hush-hushy. We opened a lot of eyes that week.
We opened a lot of eyes. I did a previous story on the Craddock Bridge scandal. See, Chief Buckley went up to the city council and he said, they're all good men and women. And it was October 2nd. I forget the year, but he goes, and I'm saying all good men and women. What's he talking about? These cops, all good men and women. So I wrote a public records request.
Let's tell your audience what the Brady list is. When you're on the Brady list,
It's a blacklist.
it's a blacklist. And what that means is you lied at one time on the stand, you did something wrong yourself, and you can't be trusted to handle a case or testify in a case, but you're still testifying on it. So now the Brady list prevents you from going on being a valuable witness because you can't be trusted.
Right, and if you get a parking ticket or you get a speeding ticket, you find out if the cop is on the Brady list and bring that into court and watch it. You have a good argument.
I didn't know that one.
Oh, yeah, you have a good argument. Your Honor, how
Wow.
can you trust this man? He's got this radar gun that's like...
Well, it's like a cop. If if you're going to be testifying in the criminal case, you got to make sure you can trust that police officer.
Yeah.
If you're on the Brady list, you look through that, your name's on it. You can't be trusted. See you later. Don't let the door hit your behind on the way out.
So that's the story of the Brady list. So I'm like, what's going on here? So I wrote a public records request. And the city lawyer at the time, now they have no city lawyer in Medford.
I heard, yeah.
She
What are they
uses
doing?
KP Law.
So what are they doing?
I call them the Claw. They send you to KP Law, and it's like, we're going to charge you for the public records request. No, you're not. And, it's just
How can
crazy.
they charge you? It's public information.
They can charge you. So what I put in my public records request is, I'm so good at this. A law firm hired me and paid me as an independent contractor to do their public records requests. So I'm good at this. I've been doing it for years.
So they have no city solicitor at all?
No. And you know who wanted to be city solicitor again? Well, Rumley.
Oh, I didn't know this, yeah.
Yeah, but Mayor Christensen put him at part-time over there. I don't know,
Malden?
maybe full-time over in
Malden,
Malden,
yeah.
right? And then he takes Stephanie Muccini-Burke from the YMCA and gives her a job there. So I write, Gary, you got the Home for Little Wanderers. Brianna writes me back, that is excellent. She loved it. The Home for Little Wanderers. But I mean, really, so she has no solicitor and she keeps getting elected. So, hey, people don't mind. But the point is...
Must be costing a fortune to outsource that.
He fought me tooth, fang, and nail, Rumley, and I won. So I go to the Secretary of State, and then it got so bad that the cop handling the public records was on the Brady list. So you can imagine what I wrote to the Secretary of State. Your Honor, how can you trust this man?
So what was the outcome?
I got it. I got the Craddock Bridge thing. It was 64 pages called the L'Italian Report. So I put it up, and my blog hit
The Italian report. I remember that one. Yes.
I hit #1 for like a year, 2 years. It was crazy. They were referencing it.
Yeah.
Then I did the story for you because I said, let me go to Marion, and I got 117. Then there were even more than the 24 on the Italian.
You broke
report.
the internet that week. You really broke the internet that week.
And people don't know. I mean, my friend, I was telling him about the Brady list, and it's like, what's that? And it's like, no one knows. I tell everyone.
I didn't know what it was. He sent it to me. and I'm the publisher of the paper.
Now, do you watch Law and Order SVU?
I sure do.
They're always saying Brady.
Yeah.
Brady this, Brady that. Well, it's discovery. And what district attorney didn't hand over the Brady list? When they don't hand it over, that's the trouble.
Yeah.
So they have to give the disclosure in court. And a lot of AGs like to see if they can play with this or that. And
It's an important piece. It's very important.
Because your civil rights, because you can get...
You don't know, you're taking a testimony from a person, you don't know if you can trust this person. If you made the Brady list, you shouldn't be in the courtroom.
And my point is 33 cops, and like I said, after we published it, after everything, Jack Buckley still gave me a parking space, so God bless him.
And I told you, I was getting calls from everywhere, and I was getting calls far away from Florida, saying, I have a friend on that list. I go, I didn't create the list. He made the list on his own.
Didn't one cop call you and ask you to get you off the list?
Yeah, can you take me off the list? I go, how could I do that, and why would I do that? And, so also I'm the bad guy because I wouldn't take him off the list. It's a list. You can't just white somebody out. You made the list on your own. Shame on you. But, take it up with the district attorney. She made the list. She's the one who put it out to us.
Now, did you see that ex-Chief Sacco was fined?
No, I didn't. For what?
Over that, for $9,000 by the State Ethics Board.
For?
Got McGilvery got whacked for $1,500 and Sacco for the Italian report thing.
Oh, I didn't.
Because he wasn't honest. So Sacco.
Send me that. I'd like to put it in. Yeah. I'd like to put it in the paper. Send me that.
A friend of mine sent it, but it was 2 years. It's 2002. But I'm like, I put it up on the Real Medford Mass Politics. People went nuts. There was Sacco, because, Sacco's son worked for the MBTA.
Okay. What did he do?
He was allegedly drunk driving, and some ambulance called it in. Mysteriously, he gets away with it. So when Sacco spoke at the city council, I went up behind him and I said, Chief's not telling about the Channel 5 story and his son, and he came out and threatened me. Wow. And then Rumley comes out, and I'm like, Chief, you can threaten all you want. It's Channel 5 News, fair game, Leo. But they were mad at me. But it's only the truth. It's the truth.
The truth hurts. You ever hear that? You ever hear that? The truth hurts. Hurts the one who are lying.
And so I hear more stories, so I was not shocked when I saw he had to pay an ethics fine. And they were all tied in with that ex-mayor. And so they were all doing his bidding and their own bidding.
Yeah. For all your viewers out there, if you can't get in touch with Joe, get in touch with me, William Tauro at AOL.com. That's William, Tauro, at AOL.com. And you have a story to tell me, I'll put it out there. Or you can always call me at 617-293-2016. Call me, text it to me. I'm not afraid to put news out there. As long as it's the truth, something that's out there people should know, let me know. I'll put it out there and let the people decide.
Now, I'm not going to mention any names, but we both got sued for doing this.
Oh, did we?
And we were telling the truth.
We were victims. We were victims, and we got sued.
It was your name and my name, and there was like 16 John Does and Jane Does. Yeah.
I don't want to go there because it's over. But like he says, we were victims in something, and this person cried that it was
defamation.
Not defamation. They had a nervous breakdown over. Well, you caused the crime, not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But mental anguish, that's the word. Mental anguish.
Well,
but that's over. It's water under the bridge.
It's water under the bridge, but this is the fun we have, people, and it's like...
we both run unfiltered. We're not afraid to put your name out there. We're not afraid to tell the truth. We're not afraid of anybody coming after us. Send it to us. We'll print it. Trust me.
I will tell you one last thing about the story.
Ahead.
When the process server served me, I said, this made my day. Would you like a drink? Would you like some record albums? The guy laughed. I said, this is funny. And then I went to work.
Yeah. like it says, the paper gave us an extension to get the word out there to help people from being defrauded, help people being taken advantage of. And now, where I'm running for Middlesex County Registrar of Deeds for Southern Middlesex County, I want to stop the fraud that's being done at the Registry of Deeds itself. It's a lot going on there. That was only one of many stories I could tell you about it. And the registry, as you know, since the pandemic, the registry's been closed. She only opened this past April because I pulled papers for that office.
Doesn't anyone send her public records requests? She
was doing everything in her leisure.
Well, her public records requests can be sent in to her to ask about,
Yeah.
is this registered yet? I'd get everyone to vote for you and send in a records request.
Well, you want to find out, just, you could Google Maria Curtatone and find out, you can see all my stories. The stories are pretty bad about her and her whole families, And I even had family members, a family member called me up about a few years back. Remember I did the story? I did a 1-hour interview about Maria Curtatone's sister-in-law, telling the story how Maria Curtatone beats up her own mother, 90-year-old mother. This is coming from a family member.
Allegedly.
It's not allegedly. It's true.
Wow.
It's true. I've had.
I'll say allegedly for my show.
Okay, you can say that, but I've had Joe Curtatone call me up saying, "You tell my sister if she touches my mother one more time." I go, "Why don't you tell her?"
The mayor called you?
Yeah, I was friends with him at one time.
I know he was your limo driver.
No, he worked for me in a limo company, and I helped put him through college. But when Maria Curtatone, the current registry, was beating up her mother, and one time she gave her 2 black eyes. He had to send her to Italy for 3 months to recover.
Horrible.
Joe Curtatone called me up. He goes, "You tell my sister if she ever touches my mother again." I go, "Why don't you tell her?" He goes, "I don't talk to her." Then right after that, Maria Curtatone's uncle called me. Cappy called me. He goes, "You tell that." I don't want to say what he called in Italian. "If he touches my sister one more time, what I'm going to do to her." I go, "She's your niece. Why don't you tell her?" "I don't talk to her." So, what do you want me to do?
That's outrageous.
So I wrote the story about, I did the interview, how Maria Curtatone beats up her own mother. You can't make this stuff up. It's all true. She
And
can't
people
sue
don't
me
believe
because
it.
she
People-
can't.
yeah,
Well,
but people
if you,
read it and they
if you
think
go on
it's-
Somerville News Weekly and Google Maria Curtatone, it's called "Life with the Curtatones." That article, it's a 1-hour interview with Bobby Curtatone, Maria's sister-in-law, who tells the whole story.
Now, I can't understand why people live in cities don't investigate this stuff. They read the paper and then they go on with their lives.
Well, the Curtatones got pulled at the time. He was the mayor, and she's the Registrar of Deeds. People were afraid to do anything. Just like Maria Curtatone. Been there for 12 years. No one ran against her in 12 years, unopposed. So now she's got me, William Tauro, as her opponent.
Well, we got 1 minute left, and we're gonna launch the new Billy Tauro podcast, Somerville News Weekly Goes podcast.
Sounds good.
I mean, isn't this room great?
The acoustic and everything. I love it. I feel so comfortable. And the air conditioning is just right.
Dom
There's
is
a
the
beautiful
greatest.
sign behind me.
Dom is the greatest director.
Great guy, and he has a full head of hair like I used to have one time. I'm jealous.
Maybe it's yours. They gave. I don't know. Hey, visual radio. The views and opinions, of course, are only Billy Taros and Joe Viggs, and I'm glad people read my stuff. Thank you for publishing me.
Thank you for sending them over.
Yep.